like a little baby rabbit's nest underneath where our fireplace is, because it jets out from the house. And there were like 3 or 4 babies in there, and I moved them out beyond my fence out into the field. And I was hoping the mom would find them and like move them to safety. The next morning they were gone. So either mom found them and moved them to safety, or some other creature like a owl or raccoon.
Yeah, you basically just fed them to the coyotes out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a circle of life. I mean, those animals need to eat too. So
no, they don't. They find other
all
stuff.
the rabbits, whatever.
Yeah, what'd you move them for?
So my dog wasn't chewing on them.
Why don't you? Well, you just one way or another, I guess. I mean, you couldn't just block them off from the dog getting there. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Circle of life, Stephen.
All right.
It's a circle of life.
Speaking of circle of life, let's get fucking locked and fucking loaded for the podcast. I am your co-host, Steven, with Colin and Matt. Today we're going to talk about GTA 6 and what we would like to see in the game.
So I have before we get into like a wish list and what we want to see in the game, I actually have, and I was going to say this as a surprise, is I have leaks and rumors hot off of the presses that I found on Reddit today. So this is pretty, no, obviously none of this is confirmed by Rockstar, but it seems very accurate. So do we want to hit that stuff first?
Yeah, I do have one.
It might change your wish list. There's a couple of these things might actually change it.
Okay. So last thing I saw was that it was gonna be in Canada, but I'm wondering if it's gonna involve Canada because since the beginning they've been saying Americas. I'm wondering if they're going from Canada, United States, and South America, like the Americas, right?
Well, I think the last rumor I heard about the guy that's a voice actor, he was going to Canada and he did like hashtag GTA 6, hashtag Toronto or something. Well, I Googled that. Like GTA has a studio, Rockstar has a studio in Toronto. So he was probably going up there to record audio for the game. Not necessarily the game setting is there. So I blew that myth up as soon as I saw it, like just with Google.
Yeah, so something I've heard, jump into these, something I've heard is that, and they stated this a long time ago, is that they only wanted to stay in America, not even like hit Canada and stuff like that. Now the rumor that I heard, there was like 2 parts to this rumor. One I find more accurate, and another that kind of spun off of that was a possibility of Brazil and like Rio being an option, as like and almost like only as a side mission, not like a main city you would be in, but like a side mission in story mode. So not like an online. So busting out this first leak is Vice City, which does not surprise me at all. So their timeline of the way that they're doing games and revisiting games like Vice City, or revisiting cities, Vice City was pretty much the obvious. But it seems like it's like 95% chance of it being Vice City, and also same time frame as Vice City, the original of 80s.
Yeah, so they've been gone back with Liberty City and Los Santos, so that would be logical. And I've heard that same thing before. And one thing that makes me think about that is that the whole 80s thing is like super big right now, and it's been for a couple of years. Like Stranger Things using like the retro wave.
Yep.
Wave has gotten a big thing. Like, people are doing like logos like they did on like the Trapper Keepers, or like just like that 80s vibe with the gradients and like the neon colors. So with that and the current technology, which will be, I guess, a future state with the new system, like they could do some really cool retro-y stuff. And of course, I'm sure they'll mix in some like 80s sci-fi experimental, but that would be super cool.
One thing too, I always felt like that whole Super Bowl this past year that took place in Miami, how it had that like GTA vibe to it. Now, could that have just been, Fox taking, like the GTA references and that 80s vibe, and throwing it on their Super Bowl broadcast? It could have been. I probably can't say Super Bowl, so we may have to say
big game.
the big game. The big.
So
The
what
big
was it?
game.
Were they doing like a theme where they were trying to make it look like it was like VHS or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
And
the
I see a lot of
80s.
that.
Yeah.
You know, even the
It
gun
was-
channels
it
I
was-
watch, like they'll do that. Like they'll shoot a gun that's popular from the '80s, like an MP5, and they'll be like '80s montage.
And Miami has that like feel of like
Mhm.
80s anyway.
Yeah.
It's like if I think of Miami, I think of 80s anyway. I don't know why, but it's just that it's just that thing. And even like the basketball team, the Miami Heat, they're every team like in the NBA does like they call them like the city jerseys, and it's a jersey based around like the style of their city or whatever, and cool, and they wear them like twice during the year or something. But Miami is the same style of the neon pink and things like that. They're actually pretty cool jerseys. But, yes,
so
same thing.
are like the Cavs? They look like a toilet bowl
Yes.
jersey.
Yeah.
A toilet bowl, something
Fan-
like that.
Fantastic. No, the Cavs I think is like they go back to like their 80s style, which is like the orange and blue colors. But then I think there's like a city outline. Now that was like 2 years ago. I think last year's was like like a baby blue, which they've been part of their colors before in the past as well. So like that baby blue color.
So also another rumor that I just saw like within the last week or so was someone had mentioned about Rockstar doing some kind of application or something where they were going to use like nearly $100,000 or $100 million for marketing in the year 23 or something, like 2023. And they were saying like, hey, this is what they spent on GTA 5. This is what they spent on Red Dead 2. And now it looks like they basically put in their application to drop this money in 2023, which I don't think you're going to do that for a lesser title. Like you're not going to do that for Bully 2.
Bully 2.
You're not.
Yeah,
you're not going to do that for like maybe a Midnight Club. But I mean, don't you think it'd be hard to, like with other games like the Forza series and stuff to try to, even get into that competing of that or Need for Speed and stuff like that. I mean, if you're talking those millions and millions of dollars, definitely, I think you're looking at a GTA 6.
Are we going to get a Steven on the move here?
Yeah, I like it.
You're muted if you can hear us.
You're muted.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got to check this grill, so I'm gonna be going mobile. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So.
Totally
Okay.
fine.
Well, yeah. So that ties into the next leaks and rumors here is the release dates. So the earliest would be 2022, with the most likely being 2023 or 2024. Mostly because current gen is just not an option, so they have to wait for next gen stuff to come out, and then I think time frame and everything like that. So that was the other one. So and then it looks like also like it'll be 12 to 13 months after the release on consoles for the PC version to come out. So they've like always followed that trend on every game, which is interesting.
Yeah, more time the better for me because, I mean, we just got our Xbox a couple of years ago, and I'd hate to have to upgrade both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was literally thinking about that today. It's like, well, I'm going to start, putting $10 aside every once in a while just to save money for a next gen. And like, honestly, it's like, or do I save up a little bit more and buy a PC and that can actually run that stuff?
Oh yeah, but the PC itself, that requires upgrades in itself, and kind of what you pay for an Xbox is what you're going to pay for just a graphics card or whatever.
Yeah,
depending on how like future-proof you build.
Yeah, I know. It's like I could drop 4,000 on a PC that's going to last me several years, but who knows? Yeah, it's like it's a lot of money.
Really, about 1,500, you'll get a PC that's pretty future-proof, and you can just upgrade it. Especially now, if you get like an SSD and things like that.
Yeah, we'll see. So now, I mean, what were they talking that the new Xbox was going to cost? 700 or something like that, or
Yeah, we better have some good specs for that.
yeah, I mean it's a PC at that point anyway. So
Well, it's kind of been a PC. It's just not like it's just very like a contained environment.
yeah. So yeah, those were the major leaks, but I've got parts of them that are kind of tied to that. So I will go ahead and start with my wish list. So my number one has a 1A and a 1B to it. So my first part of my wish list is just more immersive and alive environments. Currently, like in GTA 5, there are thousands and thousands of buildings, and you can go in like 20 of them or 30 of them or so. So either like GTA 5, the size of the city is fine, but like half of the city is mountains where there's really just no. If you made it like a massive city, then you don't need multiple cities like we've been talking about. So like a massive city where you can do a bazillion things, I think would be cool. So yeah, either that or like a 3-city system, because I know like in San Andreas they had 3 cities that you could travel back and forth to. So I don't see why it wouldn't be doable now. So if you did like, because that's something I thought of, was like if you have Vice City, this would be an easy time to tie in like Red Dead and go with like Saint Denis, you know, and travel up and over to Saint Denis. Like that would be kind of cool. Create a New Orleans. So yeah, that's number one on my wish list is obviously the city itself being either much larger or similar size and just a lot more immersive and alive and more things you can do and see.
Yeah,
and go into.
I think GTA 4 it had more of the where you can go in buildings. You know,
Mhm.
I like that. There'd be 2 things that I would like. That where you can go into more areas, and that would give it more depth. I understand that's a constraint of like the game. It can only be so big, right, before it starts getting like laggy and stuff, especially on console. But the console is powerful enough; it should alleviate a lot of that. The other thing is, shit, I forgot. What were we saying? Like the immersiveness.
Yeah, just an immersive city, alive.
Oh yeah. I would like to see the city or whatever the location is evolve. Like you see in GTA, you see the same building being built like the entire time. Like I would like to see like the city change. And what they do now is they add a DLC and they'll take something that's been shut off and make it something to go into. But
For example, the casino. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they need more of that where, originally it was this old casino. They blew it up and put a new one in. And then the construction downtown, I mean, how long have we been playing that? And I think the workers must be on strike.
It would have been nice. That would have been a really cool idea, honestly. And like I heard rumors like the first year of GTA 5, it was like, oh, like every so often you come back and the buildings under construction have slightly changed. And that just was never the case. Obviously, that's not happening. But like that would have been a very interesting, like every DLC that gets released, another part of those buildings that are under construction are finalized. And then by like the 5th DLC, it's done and it's something badass. That seems like a really cool idea.
Well, you see how they're doing in Apex, where they're modifying the map.
Yeah.
It evolves. It changes completely to a different area, and now it's like back to
the so there is some
modified.
Familiarity to it, and then some newness. Yeah. So that the designers and stuff don't have to work on creating a whole new map. They just work on a segment, which you could. I mean, that would be.
Yeah, and you can sit there and watch, and that's what they're doing is with Respawn is they're just watching Twitch streams and YouTube videos, and they're like, this area seems to be really dead. Nobody's going here. The loot is crappy. It just doesn't seem to be a great place to fight, and they change it. Or like Skull Town, it's like, well, everybody's dropping there, but there's not enough loot for the 7 teams that always drop there, and it's like making really bad experiences for a lot of below average players. So they never go to Skull Town because that's where like the elite people go. So
quick tangent
blew it up.
on that. If we play Apex tonight, let's go. Isn't there like a couple layers to where Skull Town was?
Yeah. So I can take you guys down there. It's not that easy to get into, but we can.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah, I've been down there 2 or 3 times.
One thing that would be cool too is, and I've seen this with more like MMORPGs, like on the PC or whatever, having like events like on August 28th at Eastern time, like 8 o'clock, like this big thing is going to happen. So if you're playing and on a server at that time frame, then you're going to see like an asteroid come through and like blow up a chunk of the city, or like this big event or whatever, and it might be something you interact with, but it's more of like a thing that you see. I think that would be kind of cool, and it would pull in players at that time, and they could, add stuff for that. Like
That's
a
what
DLC
Fortnite
release or
does.
something like that.
Fortnite
Yeah,
is
that's
really good about that.
exactly what I was going to say, Colin. Like recently you shared that thing about Fortnite, I think on Instagram,
Yeah.
how they had like little live concert. And
Yeah.
I remember my buddy, who's not even like a gamer, he works with wood, right? That's what he does. But he was telling me about it like Biggie Smalls had a concert in Fortnite.
Yeah, and it's not like they're like unknown people. Like these are like they had Marshmello. Like their first concert on Fortnite was Marshmello. He did a fucking live concert on Fortnite.
What's a marshmallow?
Yeah,
No,
he's
no,
a you've never heard of Marshmello? You've heard of his songs, but he's a DJ, and he works with a lot of like top 40 guys. But
Does it go like unz, 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 unz?
no,
unz,
it's not.
unz?
It's not European DJs.
Oh, what was it? Unz bra, unz bra, unz bra.
But yeah, I like that event.
In there.
Oh, God. All right, Matt, what do you got? What's on your wish list?
So one of the things that I think they didn't necessarily pay attention to, or that people didn't participate in enough. Now, we did a lot at the beginning, but the things that like the mini games inside the game, like I really enjoyed the golf. The tennis, I couldn't get a hold of it, but maybe, things like that. I mean, they could do so much. They could do so much more as far as like almost like those simple mini games like that someone can play by themselves. That was my other thing is I feel like a lot of times I'm on there by myself, so I don't have friends with me that can can help me do missions or heist or sell products, but I still want to do things to make money. So let's say I like the hot ring circuit, right? The racing. But I might sit in a lobby for 40 minutes trying to find other people to play that with me. I'd rather just be able to play around a golf and make more money or RP and stuff. So I think, to be able to make it for that solo player, like some features that may benefit a solo player, that
Bots might help. Like if you're in a race and there's only 2 people, it fills it up with like a mix of different skill level bots, and that way it's kind of feels like you're
That's a good idea.
Correct. Like a racing game that you would play by yourself. A lot of times, as you progress, the bots that you're racing against are better. So that's a good point. And then basically you could choose, hey, do I want to race against 5 bots or do I want to race against 10? The payout if you win is better with the 10 bots versus the 5 bots. That would be I think a neat feature just for people that are on there by themselves that don't always have their friends. I mean, one thing I was thinking about when you said this was going to be our thing for the night, I was thinking about like the whole the cash system and the inflation, right? And we're not idiots, right? I mean, Rockstar does this to be profitable. They're a business. Maybe someday UNICEF will get into making video games, but until then, I'm not against Rockstar making some money selling some shark cards. But the inflation, I think for newer players later in the game, it's a struggle for them to get things, right? Where now we're at the point where money doesn't even matter, like if a new DLC comes out tomorrow and it costs $10,000 or $10 million, we're not going to be like buying a shark card to do that. We're just going to do it. And then we already know how the business systems work. So in 2 weeks of us grinding the new stuff, we're going to make our 10 million back, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I have 2 things on my wish list that are very related to that of like solo stuff is, yeah, I was thinking about how, like, if I want to sell stuff, one, I either have to have friends, or I'm not going to sell everything, or I need to sell it early, or I can trust randoms, and I never do that. So I thought of like jobs. So I know PC has like the role playing servers or whatever. Chicken's looking pretty solid there, Steven. And they have the role playing servers, but you can't like make like actual money that you can use in the game for those things. Now they have like wages, but it's not like official money, I don't think, in GTA. But why can't you like get a job? And it's like, well, I'm by myself today, so like I'm gonna take a job as a cop or an Uber driver or something like that. Like,
That would pull in that RPG element. There's all the servers that they do. All they do is RP, and I think that's kind of cool. Like, where it's like you have to play by those rules, otherwise you get kicked out. So maybe bringing role-playing servers to the console, because really the PC allows more customization, and not having that option on console kind of takes away from being on the console. And they really should be like more in line with each other as far as that's concerned.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely a downside, because like like I've stumbled across those YouTube videos. And I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. It looks like fun, like going to be a firefighter or something. Yeah, it's like, it seems awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, just jobs. That would be cool.
One thing I had a question about the chicken was, I was wondering if Steven had ran those birds over with his mower today.
I haven't mowed for shit because it's been raining for like the past week. So if I do mow, it'll be tomorrow. And I do look for like turds and birds, so I don't run them over.
Yeah.
And the other thing on my wish list, Matt, that you had kind of hinted at was basically just realistic pricing. I feel like they could just lower the price on like everything. Like maybe you don't make as much as you do in jobs or whatever, but why is a T-shirt $4,000? Like, why are we making this complicated? Like, why can't clothing be like $50 to $1,000? And like, I don't know, everything just seems so drastically overpriced. So yeah, for you to be able to do anything basic in GTA, you have to have at least $5 million in your pocket at any given time, which seems like a giant waste of time. All right, I've got like 8 other things on my list. So you guys want to hit anything else? Is there other things you have?
I say you hit stuff, and then if we have comments, we can expand on it, or maybe say, hey, I like that idea, or I think that would be hard to work,
Sure.
But I mean, guaranteed, we're going to have to buy next-gen consoles or PCs to play the next version.
Yes. Yeah, that doesn't seem like an option, which I appreciate. I know that's what a lot of people are saying about like GTA 5 is they can't do much else with it, like expansive wise, because it was built for the Xbox 360 and the PS3, not for the Xbox One and PS4. All right, so before I jump into my next one, so like I said, I was mowing earlier today, and at least here in Ohio, it's been warm. It's a beautiful weekend, and I could have like really used like a refreshing drink today. And you know what I found on the shelves this morning at the grocery store?
What'd you find, Colin?
Well, let me tell you. I don't know if you can hear this. Ooh, so good. I want you guys to see this. Do you guys see this? This is Michelob Ultra Infusions.
Whoa.
What?
This is like the summer shandy of Michelob Ultra.
Ooh, White
Still,
Claw, get the fuck out. This is the real shit.
This is the really good stuff. It is infused.
What is in there?
Lime and prickly pear cactus. I was a little nervous at first. I'm like, this seems kind of weird and girly. But man,
you have to put in some Nicolas Cage on that.
But you know what? Like sitting outside by like a fire or like at my table outside after mowing and enjoying the nice weather. I had a couple of these and it really hit the spot. Thank you, Michelob Ultra. Not
We
sponsored
are
yet.
not yet sponsored by Michelob Ultra, but we will be.
I did get an email from a Nigerian prince. He wanted my social security card so I could get the check that he was wanting to write me. But
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I think you
I got
should
the
go
same
forward with
email.
this.
I got the same email. I
forwarded
sent him
Matt's
my
email
account
instead and said
number.
contact him.
Yeah, I got the same email. I sent him my account number and routing number. He said he's gonna if I send him the 10 grand I have, he'll send me 5 million to get him out of prison.
That's good.
Something like that.
Yeah, that seems like a great deal.
Yeah, it's wise investment. I mean, I talked it over with all my family members. You know, everyone's on board.
So with both the jobs and the money aspect of those last two ideas or wishes that I had was along with like illegal businesses, which I think should be like where the majority of your money comes from because this is a game based around crime. Why not actual legit legal businesses?
Yeah, you could almost simplify running a real business, and then that way these kids, who learn by memes and shit like that, and don't have the attention span to like pay attention to like cool stuff of like what's going to make you money in real life. It's almost like a hidden tutorial of like how to start your own business. So that way, out of like the thousands and thousands of kids that might watch it, they might be like inspired or kind of understand like what it takes to run a business and then apply it to the real world, which is of course going to benefit themselves and everybody else.
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool like if the barber shop's in the game,
right?
Like I had my own barber shop.
And you could like
so
talk
when someone,
with them or whatever.
Someone came to my barber shop, like it would, if I'm not in a mission or something, I would get teleported there, right?
Mhm.
And I would be the one providing the service, And I say, like, they're like strolling through what they want. I'm like, nah, not that one. Nah, not that one. Nah, not that one. You know what I'm saying? That'd be fun, right? Like you would actually help, like, control what people are wearing. Like everyone would get a mullet, right? Like,
yeah, it would blend that RPG aspect
mullet,
with like the job thing.
It'd be cool if like everybody could have their own world, like it's like Minecraft or something, and all of Matt's people are running around with mullets.
Beautiful.
So next thing I had, which if it is the 80s Vice City theme or whatever, then I don't think this will be a problem, but no non-realistic and crazy futuristic vehicles. I would be perfectly fine with no flying oppressors, Deluxos, laser tanks, and stuff like that. But it's a cartoon game, and people have fun with that stuff, so I can see both sides.
I could see the Deluxo at least being there.
The Deluxo might fit
but
as
it doesn't
Back
fly.
to the Future.
But it doesn't fly.
Back to the Future. I mean, I could see that aspect, but it's a lot of that stuff has become way too much.
No, what if they made it so that you could get in your Deluxo and go back in time? Like if you lost a bunch of money, you would get in your
go back
Deluxo,
10 minutes.
hit 88 miles per hour.
I don't think that would work.
And
It
get
would
your
be
money
so
back.
complex on like the back end. Like you'd have to have smarter people, like smart people.
Oh
like,
yeah,
figure that out.
that's way too much. That's a whole nother game in itself.
I could see if it's 80s themed sci-fi, I could see it like making sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I understand like the oppressor being so OP and things like that. So that's like a matter of them balancing the gameplay more or less than, because think about it, if the oppressor was never OP, like would you really have a problem with it?
No.
So,
yeah, because everybody. If everything didn't have missiles, that would probably also. I wouldn't give
make them have
rat's ass.
non-homing missiles because.
Well,
like,
just remember, remember too, like everything, at the beginning, everything was OP, right? Like, remember
Sort of.
all those people that bought the what was that car? It was like a Bugatti, the Adder, right? Like that was the car to have at the very beginning because it was the fastest. Like if you went into a race with that car, it was always the fastest. Then like the Buzzard, the attack Buzzard with all the missiles, like it was. I mean, you could still shoot it down, but a lot of people back then weren't high enough rank to get an RPG, and the RPG wasn't accurate. It was only until the homing rocket came out, which by then, you know, everyone had a Buzzard. You know, so
very true.
I mean, I think that kind of stuff they did pretty good. I just think like right now the Mark II oppressor is stupid in the game. It's ruining a lot of gameplay for most people. So
they've nerfed it quite a bit, haven't they?
The speed boosting that you could do with it, that was fixed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's the same. It's the same bike.
Yeah.
Well, they're also saying like if you use your ray gun, you know, that you use to flip your thing, if you shoot that at it, it can, you know, it disables or disorients, or the guy flies off of it, or I don't know, but
seems like that or the minigun is what you're supposed to use. That's what I've seen, is just use those, and it
I wonder if the laser gun will work, because it's
probably similar.
Same kind of deal. No unlimited ammo.
All right, we're gonna speed through the rest of these, so we're running out of time a little bit. So number 6 on my list was mansions, which they started to get into it, like those stilt houses, but I want to see like a legit mansion. Like, I don't know why that was never a thing. There's a million.
Was that a Vice City thing? Couldn't you buy like a property?
Yeah, there was big mansions in GTA. Yeah, in Vice City.
Now,
I don't think there was in 3.
Like a mini Sims type of deal, where where you're like, I pick my couch, I pick my this, because I feel like we buy these properties and you can't do shit with them, and I'm like, I don't fucking like this.
Yeah, you get 4 choices. You get 4 choices.
Yeah.
So expanding on that real quick, Colin, was with the mansions, wouldn't it be nice to be able to sell a property easier? Like, if I have a deluxe apartment, but then the mansion DLC comes out, I'd like to be able to sell my deluxe apartment to buy the mansion, or you know, help reduce that price. Like, wouldn't you love to sell your Brigade?
Yes, that's $1 million. And even if I could get, I mean, I don't think I can, because it's a Pegasus vehicle, so I can't get rid of it. Yeah, that's annoying. Heists. I think heists need to be expanded upon. Like those, obviously it was a major delay in like how long it took for those to even come out. And they were crazy fun. And then they did the casino ones, which were also fun. What was the other one? End of the world apocalypse ones. The hell was that thing called?
Doomsday Heist.
The Doomsday Heist. Yeah. Like that one. Like those were fun and different and just new missions. And so I think expanding on that. I can't imagine them not doing it, because I think that was like a lot of people's favorite parts.
You know what would be cool, because of the like their age and time? Young Lester, young Trevor, like have some legacy missions with these young guys when like they're just getting started, and you kind of see them before they're the characters like that they're at in GTA 5. I think that'd be cool.
Well, Martin Madrazo, who's in GTA 5, who does a lot of the missions or whatever, he was in Vice City.
Yeah, like wouldn't it be cool to see? Wouldn't it be cool to see how Lester got his limp?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
like he was in like a car accident, already got hit. You know, somebody beat him with a bat or something stupid. You know.
Yeah, or a heist or a robbery.
That could have been the thing
that
made him like who he is. Like he was like
why he's the mastermind now.
And then like he got fucked up and was like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna fucking own you now. Like ultimate revenge of the nerd.
He was the nerdy kid with the Commodore 64.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Have you both played the single player all the way throughout?
Yes. Not on Xbox One. I beat it like 3 times on the Xbox 360.
Okay. Well, do you guys have a favorite character?
I mean, Trevor was the most entertaining. I think I spent more time as Michael.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think Trevor was probably the one that I had the most fun with.
Yeah, I think Lester and Trevor are my favorites. Probably Lester, actually. Like, I like Trevor a lot. He's so like a fucking anarchist. But I like Lester. He's like,
You mean
he's
Trevor?
fucking funny. What did I
Trevor?
say?
You're saying Lester.
No, I like them both. I like
Oh,
them
okay.
both. Like Trevor, but Lester's kind of like, he transcends like just a single player.
Okay, I gotcha. Expansive character customizations, so like height, weight, build, fighting style, things like that. Changing the
Yeah.
characters a little
All the
bit.
characters look the fucking same, other than what they
Yeah.
weigh.
Yeah, which was a thing in San Andreas. You could lift weights, you could eat and get fat, so then you run and lose the weight. So I would like those options, maybe not quite as drastic as that, but just like the initial the character customization, change it there. Yeah, I already kind of mentioned like improved AI, like fixing like AI driving, things like that have always been horrible. But cool things, which we've talked about before, and Matt like usually jokes around about, is like gas. Like it sounded like a bad idea, like with how much driving, but it kind of sounds fun.
Yeah, because you'd have to get gas, and so you're like,
Yeah.
if you're online, you're like, fuck, like I gotta get gas, and
Yeah, all my
Yeah.
cars are out of
everybody's
gas right now.
creeping,
Yeah, and then like if you run out of gas, like you're just stuck on the side of the road. You can call another car in, but that car is there. So I don't like that you can call in another car now and that other car leaves. I think you should have like, if you can have as many cars out as you want, you can do that. I think that would be.
That might be like a more of a system limit, because
Yeah.
it has to associate that car with your character and all the back end programming. But then again, with these new systems, they're more powerful. You should be able to do more.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna hit these last couple things. We're down to a minute, so I'm gonna hit these last couple things super quick. So there might not be much discussion, but you can always talk about them later. Is I think an odometer on a car, like every car is different, just to track miles on a car. Similar to like Red Dead is only carrying like a limited amount of guns, like 1 to 3 guns. Everything else would be like stored in your car, so everybody's not rocking around with like 8,000 guns on them. I think that would kind of even the playing field for a lot of people. And then last but not least, no names on the map. So like characters and other players don't show up on the map, which is a little more realistic. So you can't just see where everybody is at any given time. And maybe there's an option for your friends, but it's also more horrifying because you have no idea where anybody is.
Red Dead, if you're like being an asshole, you're gonna show up for everybody. But if you're just like, I'm just trying to do my fucking business and fuck around, like you don't need to be shown to everybody. So
that last one could solve a lot of issues. Like, so that if you're just in there trying to do your thing, you're not just getting mowed down by a Mark II oppressor.